Hello and welcome. Today we are looking at quite a few new products. So I have all 6 of the new Make eyeshadow shades. I love these. If you haven't tried these, they're fantastic formulas. So I'll swatch the other ones that I have as well. And then I purchased 3 of the 4 new Valentino eyeliners. I love the Valentino eyeliners. I wear them all the time. I couldn't resist the new blues. And I have the new YSL blush in Chili Crush and the new Dior Addict lipstick in Bold Black. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start off with the eyeliners. I have actually already swatched these on my hand. You'll see the live swatch for this in just a minute when we're looking at the eye swatches with the demos for the eyeshadows and the liners together. So this is the shade Baby Blue. This is Magnet Blue. These two are going to be the shimmer finish. And then we have Rock Stud Noir, which is a matte black. Now I have to say, I went to purchase the matte black. For some reason, I thought it was like a shimmery black. So I think they had the wrong picture up when I purchased it. And so, yeah, I didn't really need a matte black one. But I love these two blues. So I'm actually wearing both of these right now. I think they go together beautifully. And if you're not familiar with the Valentino eyeliners, I think these are fantastic. So we've got 2 ends. You can see this one's a little bit more bulbous at the end of the cap. That is the one with the actual liner. You can sharpen these with a regular pencil eyeliner. They're creamy, but yet they stay put. So you can see this is the one I already used. This is the new one. It'll still kind of smear a little, but they kind of set pretty quickly. The other side, which you can see has more of like a beveled edge here, this is going to be our brush. So I have to say I don't really use this brush much. I have used it a few times, but for the most part, I actually do prefer more of a smudging style brush versus this. This actually makes a really nice lip liner. So, if you've got this in your purse, you could throw this in your purse, use this for like eyeliner, eyeshadow, and then put some lipstick on this and have kind of a duo product there. So that's actually what I think is just a better shape for that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Make eyeshadows. So I purchased all 6 shades of these a few weeks back. Just haven't gotten around to filming with them. So this is the shade Beam. And you can see that these all have like a flecked marbling in them. So this is Beam. And you can see that it is a coppery golden champagne. Let's just kind of buff that so you can see what it looks like in a softer application. Texturally, these are creamy yet velvety and also a little bit of that putty kind of texture. What I mean by that putty texture is it feels very creamy when you apply it, but as you start blending it out, you can kind of feel it set. It's got some like resistance to it. So our next shade here, by the way, these are magnetic closure with a mirror in here. Our next shade is Haze. And I feel like this one looks pretty similar to Beam, but you can see that the tones are slightly different. We've got a little bit more of a reddish hue in Beam actually, and this is a little bit more of a brownish orangish hue. So slightly different, but these two are very similar. I think, if they're both fairly warm, but if you prefer cooler tones, Beam is a better choice. And then Haze is just slightly warmer, so it's a better choice for warmer tones. So it kind of depends. Then we have the shade New Wave, which is this really beautiful blue. I mean, look at it here. Let's actually put a swatch of it there with the eyeliners. You can see how nice those are together. So this is New Wave. And you can see it is going to be a light blue. There's a little bit of a silvery aspect to it, but it really is kind of like a beautiful icy pale blue. This one is Surplus, which is more of your like olive green. And I feel like it actually looks a little bit more green on the skin and a little bit more golden in the pan. So when you blend this out, you see a little bit more of those golden tones to it, but it's definitely still green. I love this shade. This is a fantastic one and done shade in my opinion. I also really like pairing it with New Wave. You can get kind of that like oceany vibe, and I really like that. Surprisingly, this was the shade that I almost didn't pick up. I was thinking, should I just get all 6 or should I just stop at the 5 that I really wanted? This is the shade Fuzz. And you can see even when you are using your finger, you're still getting kind of that color marbling. I love this shade. It is going to be those rosy, orangey, golden shades. It looks like a sunset. But for some reason, the tones of this one, you know, it's pretty similar to other shades we've seen from other brands. I don't know why, but this one I just like a little bit more on me. I think it's because it just seems like the pinkness of it is a little bit more pastel, a little bit lighter. And then this shade here is Fusion. And you can see we've got kind of some pink marbling in there. And this is a nice, rich cocoa brown. And you can see when the light hits it, you see a little bit of that pink, but really it's just this really pretty rich cocoa brown. I love it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the eye swatches and the demos. So for the eye swatches, I'm using the Hakuhodo B004G brush, and this is just a flat shader goat hair brush, and I'm putting this on very lightly. This will be your softer application. And then we're going in and we're using a fingertip application so you can see it at its full metallic beautifulness. So these shadows are called the multi-chromatic metal reflecting eyeshadows. As I mentioned, they are from the brand Make Beauty, who is having a Labor Day sale right now. So if you're interested, this is a great time to check these out. We have 4 grams of product. They retail for $24 US each. And these are made in Italy. According to Make Beauty, it says, this highly pigmented multi-chrome eyeshadow adds luminous color to eyes with a foiled metallic finish. Formulated with special treated micas, reflective pearls, and conditioning lipids that provide a creamy texture for buildable dimensional eye looks. And they have 18 shades, so quite a few options. And their website does have some swatches and shade descriptions available. And I have to say, we see a lot of eyeshadows that come out that are completely different from the written descriptions or the photos online. And I feel like the photos that they include online are pretty true to color. When these new shades came out about a month ago, I was so excited. It was right around the time that the new Natasha Denona Mini came out, the Mini Gloom. And I felt like the shades looked very similar to each other. So we're going to swatch those together. And you know, I would normally pick up maybe just a few of these, just maybe the ones that really called to me from the photos, which would have been like the blue and the green probably, and the brown. And then I probably would have skipped the other 3. But I love this formula so much from the ones I previously had. And I noticed that sometimes the shades that I think I'm going to love from Make, because of that multi-chromatic look with them, you know, sometimes I actually tend to use more the shades that were not necessarily my first choice. So I picked up all 6 of the new shades, and that definitely happened again. You know, this fuzz shade, I don't know why, but there is something I absolutely love about it. So today I'm pairing Fuzz with New Wave. I love them together. I love blending kind of that pinky orange sunset into kind of this pale blue sky or ocean. And I just feel like it's a really nice look. All of these shades work well as one and done shadows, but I also really love being able to pair these as duos. I'm all for these like single shadows and mixing and matching. I'm very happy with these. The formula is fantastic. Texture is incredible. It's smooth, it's creamy. You know, when you're applying with a finger with these, because it is kind of that thicker, creamy, more metallic formula, you can get a little bit of fallout, but I have to say these are not gritty at all. Sometimes when you're dealing with more metallic foiled shadows, you can feel more of that metallic glitter on your eyes, and you can kind of get some like micro scratches. And I haven't experienced that even after doing eye swatches and so forth. So, you know, I think it's just such a nice formula, and I definitely think that they're worth the value because these are pretty sizable at 4 grams each. So let's go ahead and do a few swatches. Let's start off with the Natasha Denona Mini Gloom palette, and then I want to take a look at the other Make Beauty shadows that I have because there are a couple of them I use all the time. So we're just going to kind of go in order here of, you know, the palette and kind of match it up to the shades here. So here's our brown from Natasha Denona. You can see it is a little bit cooler. There's a little bit more gray in it. We've got a little bit more red, or pink rather, in the fusion shade, which just gives it a little bit more of a richness to it. But you can see they're both going to be fairly cool tone browns, and our Natasha Denona is matte instead of metallic. Now we have kind of this grayish shade and this like silvery shade. Let's put it by the blue, I guess. You can see there, it's more of like a sage green gray. So maybe it would have been better with Surplus there, but you can see that it's definitely more blue than Surplus. It's kind of that soft pale sage. And then we have a matte mossy green. Let's go ahead and we'll put that right there. You can see that the tone of this is more similar to Surplus, but there's definitely more yellow in it than Surplus. Surplus has a little bit more of a neutral green tone to it in comparison. Then we have this teal, which we don't have anything quite like this in this selection. So we've got this teal here, and that's a really pretty metallic. And then this shade would be the closest to fuzz. So let's see how those compare. But you can see this is going to be a soft neutral pink. I think this is a fantastic shade. I love both the palette and these Make shadows. They're not as similar as I thought they were when I first saw them, but I think they're both great options. And if you want to pick and choose colors, you know, Make's a great way to do that. If you're looking for something all in one, then Natasha Denona gives you some really nice looks, some very versatile looks from here as well. So I think they're both great products. They both have that creamy texture to them. Now onto the shades that I previously purchased. This is Spark. Look at this stunning blue. I have to say, I love this blue. I don't really wear it very often, but it is a beautiful blue. Look at that. It can be a bright cobalt. You can buff it out and make it slightly more navy. Then we have Stardust here, which I actually use more than it looks like I do. But you can see this is going to be more of a teal. It's a bit more green than the teal in the Natasha Denona, but you can see that they do have a similar vibe to them. The Make is actually more metallic than the Natasha Denona. And this one is my personal favorite. It is the shade Quartz. I use this one all the time. It is a stunning taupe. This is one of my favorite one and done shades. You can see there's a little bit of a rosy vibe to it. It's a really beautiful shade. And then we have Gravitational, which is going to be another green shade. You can see this is going to be a bit more, it's a true green, but it's deeper, more like a forest green. Think of like an actual, not like a blue spruce, but more like a green pine. So I hope that was helpful. And then as we were looking at the demos, you could also see the eyeliners again. And again, those are our new shades. We got Baby Blue, Magnet Blue, Rockstar Noir. And this is a matte black. These two are both going to be shimmer. I think they go beautifully with the new shadows. All right, so next let's take a look at the new YSL blush shade in Chili Crush. So these are the powder blushes. This is a new matte red shade. And right now I'm gonna put this right here and buff that out a little bit. This you can put on more softly, which is how I'm wearing it today. You can cool it off a little bit with a cooler tone highlight like I did today, but it is a stunning red. I love how you can put this on very softly, very easily, or you can put this on more powerfully. So let's look at the demo here. The YSL Make Me Blush Powder Blush in Chili Crush is number 15. It retails for $46 US. We have a 2-year shelf life, 6 grams of product, and it's made in Italy. You can see here in the demo that I'm using one of the Refer holiday brushes that came out, or the fall brush rather, from 2024. And this has that 3D angle shape. It's light, it's fluffy. This is a great style of brush to apply it very softly, but you can also build it up with this. And then as we're looking at the demo for today's look with the lavender highlight, this is the lavender less highlight from YSL, I can use that back end of that brush. I love this style of brush because it's very easy to use, and I think it applies the YSL beautifully. Red blushes are such a classic shade. You can really get a beautiful flush. It's really more about the application of them and getting the right tone of red for you. Let's take a look at just a few comparisons. So I want to take a look at the Red Zero shade from Hourglass. This came out last year and it was kind of all the rage when it first came out. You can see that this is going to be a bit more of a burgundy shade. It's going to be cooler in tone. Chili Crush is really going to be more of that neutral red. Think of like that classic red lip. I also have the shade Classique from Surratt. This is a beautiful shade. You can see it's going to be more blue base, more pink. It's a cooler tone red. It's more of a deep magenta. Now the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin blushes. This is the shade Red Velvet. This was in one of the holiday kits last year. And this is my most similar shade. You can see that these are very similar. This is going to be kind of a cream to powder kind of product. The Danessa Myricks is just slightly cooler in tone than the YSL. The YSL is slightly more neutral. We do have a little bit of pink in the Danessa Myricks. And then this is the new Lancome Liquid Blush in shade 70, which is also a pretty neutral red. This is going to have a little bit more of a sheen. It's a really beautiful formula. This is very similar to the YSL as well. It has a slightly milkier flavor and it's a little bit more vibrant. I wouldn't necessarily say it's cooler, perhaps slightly, but I really think it's the vibrancy of the shade that is different there. So I hope that was helpful. Let's move on to the new Dior Attic lipstick. This actually came out like a month or two ago, but you know, I didn't pick up any of the other Miss Dior palettes except the newest Daring Lilac. This came out when the first ones launched in the US. So this is shade 790 Bold Black, and I love these blackberry style lipsticks. So here we go. Let's take a look at this on the lips. So this is a limited edition shade that is exclusive to the Dior website. Again, this is shade 790 Bold Black. It's made in France and we have 3.2 grams of product. The cases on these, they do sell decorative cases separately. It retailed for $48 US and it's been going in and out of stock. I think this is a really beautiful shade and personally, I really enjoy this. So just a couple of quick comparisons. So we're going to look at some tinted balms here. So this is the shade Noble Vine from Queen Musia. And this is going to be a bit more of a reddish berry shade. This is the Sarah Creole tinted balm in Vibrance. Let's put this one up here at the top and you can see this is going to be more of a fuchsia. This was the limited edition Hermes in Prune Noir, one of my very, very favorites. And you can see this is going to be more red as well. And this is Finding Ferdinand in Aubergine. Let's put this one right here. Oh, you can see I got a little bit of that blush there. This is slightly more purple. And this is the shade Lucky Cat here from Fighting Ferdinand, which is a little bit more pink. So I don't have anything quite like it. I have to say I do really like this. So let's just do a quick summary. So we took a look at the Make Beauty eyeshadows, creamy, metallic, they stay put, they last all day. Beautiful shades, absolutely love them. Definitely would purchase those again. Love the new Valentino eyeliners. Personally, I love the two blues. The black was kind of a mistake. I mean, it's a nice black if you need one. I just didn't need any more black eyeliners. So love the formula. They are creamy, easy to apply, and they set very quickly. So wonderful eyeliners. Then we took a look at the YSL blush in Chili Crush. Love it. Easy to put on very softly, also easy to build up. So I think it's very versatile. Sometimes with those more pigmented blushes, when you're trying to apply it lightly, it looks very patchy, and that's not true with this one. So I think it's a really beautiful formula, really beautiful color. You can definitely mix it with a like cooler tone blush to tone it down a little, or a warmer blush to warm it up even. It's a great neutral red, and it pairs beautifully with other products. And then we took a look at the new Dior Addict lipstick in Bold Black, currently out of stock. Hopefully that'll be back again soon. There is a wait list you can sign up for, but I think it is a unique shade that is fantastic. Absolutely love it. And it's kind of that thin, balmy style lipstick texture. So really beautiful. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you very soon. Have a great day.